You will never believe what happened in this company. The cleaning lady everyone was laughing at did something incredible. She fired the CEO right in the conference room. This event became a real sensation and caused heated discussions both among the staff and in the media. But let's figure out how it came to this. Background: there was an atmosphere of tension in the Technomere company. Despite successful quarterly reports and growing income, employees were unhappy with the management. The CEO, Maria Petrova, was known for her authoritarian management style. She often ignored the opinions of employees and made decisions without considering their opinions. This caused discontent, and many felt unheard. The work at Technomere was highly intensive. Employees often overworked in order to meet the inflated expectations of management. The motivation system was aimed at achieving short-term results, which created additional pressure on employees. As a result, many of them began to experience burnout, and this negatively affected their productivity and morale. Natalia, a cleaner, has been working for the company for more than 5 years. She was an inconspicuous figure, and most of the staff didn't even know her name. Every day, Natalia came to work early in the morning, cleaned the office premises, and conducted her business. However, she had a unique perspective on what was happening at the company. She observed how employees suffered from stress and overload, as well as a lack of support from management. Natalia often heard colleagues talking about how they felt deprived of attention. Many of them were full of ideas that could improve the workflow, but were afraid to speak out for fear of Maria's reaction. This situation deeply affected Natalia because she understood that the atmosphere in the team directly affects productivity and morale. The culmination of the conflict. It all started with the fact that one day Natalia witnessed a discussion between several employees in the dining area. They talked about how the CEO ignores their ideas and suggestions. At that moment, Natalia felt that she could no longer stay away. She decided it was time to act. The next day, when an important meeting was taking place in the company with the participation of all top managers and employees, Natalia decided to enter the conference room. It was unusual for her, but she felt she had to do something meaningful. When she entered the hall, all eyes turned to her. People were surprised and perplexed. What is a cleaner doing among the leaders? Natalia came up to the table where Maria Petrova was sitting and said, "I can no longer watch you ignore your employees. We are not just resources to achieve your goals. We are people with ideas and opinions. And today I want to tell you, your time is over." Natalia's words came out of the blue. Everyone present froze in shock. Some started whispering to each other, others just couldn't believe their ears. Maria Petrova tried to answer, but Natalia continued, "You are not listening to us. You are not considering our needs. We deserve better treatment." After that, Natalia addressed the members of the board of directors and suggested that they consider the possibility of changing management. She stressed that the company needs a leader who will be attentive to his employees and willing to work on improving the corporate culture. Employee reaction. After this incident, the staff began to actively discuss what had happened. Many supported Natalia and started sharing their stories about how they felt ignored and underestimated. There have been numerous posts on social media with the hashtag #LayoffCO. This event has become a symbol of the struggle for workers' rights. Some employees have started organizing meetings to discuss problems within the company and come up with suggestions for improving the situation. They realize that their voice matters and that they can influence change. Discussions began among employees about the need to create a trade union to protect workers' rights. Many have realized that they are not alone in their worries and that together they can achieve more. Soon it was decided to create an initiative group that would deal with issues of improving working conditions. Changes in the company. Shortly after the incident, the management of the Technomere company decided to hold an extraordinary meeting of shareholders. At this meeting, the results of Maria Petrova's work and her approach to managing the company were discussed. Many shareholders supported Natalia's initiative and expressed dissatisfaction with the fact that the company was losing valuable personnel due to poor management. As a result of intense debate, it was decided to change the CEO. Maria Petrova was replaced by a new supervisor, Anna Sergeyeva, who had a reputation for being an attentive and responsive leader. Anna Sergeyeva immediately began to get to know the team and hold individual meetings with employees. She understood the importance of feedback and actively sought employees' opinions on current issues and opportunities for improvement. At one of the meetings, Natalia was able to share her thoughts on how to create a more open and trusting atmosphere in the company. A new stage. With the arrival of a new CEO, a new stage has begun in the company. Anna Sergeyeva held a meeting with the staff and offered them an open dialogue on how to improve the working atmosphere. She invited everyone to share their ideas and suggestions. Natalia was also invited to this meeting. She felt like an important part of the team and realized that her voice had been heard. Employees began to actively participate in the discussion of changes in the company. They offered new ideas for improving the workflow, organizing team-building events, and implementing a feedback system. Anna Sergeyeva initiated the Employee Voice program, which allowed each employee to anonymously share their thoughts about the company's work. This program was a real breakthrough. Employees began to feel more confident and openly discussed problems. Natalia's confession? A few months after the events in the conference room, Natalia became a symbol of change at Technomir. Her story has inspired many people not only inside the company but also outside it. She has been recognized for her courage and determination. The company also decided to celebrate Natalia's contribution to the changes that occurred after her performance. At the annual corporate celebration, she was presented with a special award for courage and initiative. This event became a landmark for all employees. They realized that each of them can contribute to the development of the company. Natalia also became an active participant in various leadership and communication trainings that were conducted for employees. She shared her experience with other employees and inspired them to take active action. Influence on other companies. Natalia's story has spread far beyond the boundaries of the Technomir. Many other companies have started to think about the importance of listening to their employees and taking their opinions into account when making decisions. There have been articles and studies on how an authoritarian management style can negatively affect the atmosphere in a team. Some organizations have started implementing programs to increase employee engagement and create an open culture of communication. They realize that the success of a company depends not only on financial performance, but also on employee satisfaction. As a result of this movement, many companies have begun to rethink their approaches to personnel management. New methods of working with the team were introduced. Emotional intelligence trainings were conducted. Team-building sessions were organized, and internal platforms for the exchange of ideas were created. Development of corporate culture. With the arrival of the new CEO, Technomir began to actively develop its corporate culture. Anna Sergeyeva initiated the creation of an employee council, which consisted of representatives from different departments of the company. This council has become a platform for discussing topical issues and developing recommendations for improving working conditions. A mentoring program was also launched, where experienced staff helped newcomers adapt to the team and develop their skills. This contributed to the creation of a more cohesive team and increased the level of trust between employees. In addition, the company began to actively engage in social responsibility. Charity events were held, volunteer days were organized to help local communities. Employees were able to see that their work matters not only inside the company, but also outside it. Feedback. The new feedback system allowed employees to share their thoughts about the company's work on a regular basis. Surveys were conducted every month to identify the mood of the team and identify areas for improvement. Anna Sergeyeva actively reacted to the survey results. If employees expressed dissatisfaction with any issue, She immediately held meetings with interested parties to find solutions. This has created an atmosphere of trust between management and employees. This approach made it possible to avoid the accumulation of discontent among employees and contributed to a faster response to emerging problems. Change in perception. Over time, the perception of Technomere has changed among both employees and customers. Employees began to feel proud to be a part of this organization. Staff turnover decreased significantly. Customers have also noticed changes. The quality of service has improved due to more motivated employees. The company began to receive positive feedback not only about its products but also about its corporate culture. Natalia has become the face of change within the company. She often spoke at various events and shared her experience with other organizations. Her story has inspired many people to believe in themselves and act for change. Impact on society. Natalia's story had a wide impact not only on the Technomere company, but also on society as a whole. Her brave act became an example of how everyone can contribute to the fight for justice in the workplace. Many media outlets began to cover this story as an example of a successful struggle against authoritarian governance. There are articles about how important it is to create conditions for an open dialogue between employees and management. A movement began on social media under the hashtag number #ListenToWorkers, where people shared their stories of how they fought for their rights in the workplace. This movement drew public attention to the problems of labor relations and became the basis for the creation of new initiatives to protect workers' rights. Educational programs. Inspired by Natalia's story, some universities have begun to develop educational programs on corporate culture and personnel management. These programs included courses in emotional intelligence, leadership, and effective communication. Seminars were also organized for students on the importance of creating an open work environment and respectful attitude towards colleagues. Students had the opportunity to learn from real success stories, such as Natalia's story. In addition, some NGOs have started to conduct trainings for employees of small enterprises on how to build a constructive dialogue with management and protect their rights in the workplace. Long-term changes. A year after the events at Technomere, significant changes could be seen both inside and outside the company. Anna Sergieva continued to work actively to improve the corporate culture. Regular meetings were held with employees to discuss their needs and suggestions. Thanks to the new management approach, the employee satisfaction level has increased significantly. Employees have become more involved in the workflow. Many of them have started to come up with innovative ideas for business development. In addition, the company began to actively participate in industry conferences and experience exchange events with other organizations. This allowed Technomere to become one of the leaders in the field of corporate culture among technology companies. An example to follow. Natalia's story has become a role model not only for other companies in the country, but also beyond its borders. Many international corporations have begun to study the experience of Technomere in the field of personnel management and implement similar practices in their organizations. Natalia's story was often mentioned at conferences on human resource management as a vivid example of how one person can make a difference. Opinion leaders began actively sharing this story through blogs and podcasts. Conclusion. The story of the CEO's dismissal at Technomere has become a vivid example of how one person can make a difference. Natalia has shown us all that courage and determination can lead to significant changes. Every employee has the right to vote and can influence the future of their company. This story reminds us that it is important to be attentive to each other and create an atmosphere of trust and support in the workplace. After all, it is precisely such conditions that contribute to the development of ideas and innovations that can lead a company to success. Thus, the CEO's dismissal incident was not only a turning point for Technomere, but also marked the beginning of a new era of corporate culture in many other organizations. Every day, more and more people realize their power and begin to demand respect for themselves and their ideas. In the end, Natalia's story inspired an entire generation of employees to believe in themselves and their abilities to make the world around them a better place, both inside and outside their company. This case has become a symbol of the struggle for workers' rights around the world and a reminder that each of us is capable of more. Thus, Natalia's story is not just a story about the courage of one cleaning lady. It is a story about how important it is to listen to each other in the workplace and create conditions for an open dialogue between all participants in the process. In the end, it is precisely such changes that make us stronger as individuals and as a society as a whole.